Hello everybody, how's it going? Andy Rooms here, coming at you with a session of Little Locked Rooms. Stay tuned as we continue. We're gonna be doing the Sleeping Beauty chapter, but the Rapunzel complex. Alright, you guys remember this one, right? It's time for Act 2. Last time we ended on a bit of a sour note. Good thing you talked it out in a civilized manner and made up, right? Yeah, didn't think so. Oh hey, the balconies are gone. Yeah, I did remove them. Let me explain. I actually simplified a few things from the real mystery. It would have been too hard otherwise. Oh, the balconies are gone. Damn. Really? You did that for Shay, right? Dad, I could have solved it anyway. Don't take it as me doubting you two. I just thought it would be better to do it like this. So let's go over what the tower actually looks like. First, in the previous version of the tower, I said the guest rooms had balconies, but in reality, they just had regular windows. That means you can't jump down, right? Correct. The other night, we said the killer escaped by jumping down from the roof. But with no balconies, that wouldn't quite work. Okay, I get it. Let's start. Activating detective mode. Hold on. Don't go activating anything yet. There's something else that's different. Take a quick look at the crime scene. See if you can spot anything new. There's a latch on the window. Yeah, there's something on the window. What is it? What is that? I should have brought my magnifying glass. It's a bolt. If you slide that little metal bar, it locks the window. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because when the servants broke into the room and discovered the body, it was only the door that was locked, the window was bolted shut too. Okay, Let me spoil you that the killer entered the room exactly like we talked about last time. That's not the problem here. The problem is how they escaped from the room, leaving both the door and the window locked. Oh, and check out the guest guest room before doing anything else. There's something important in there. Try not to miss it. And that's it. Now, get to solving, detectives. So, guest bedroom. There's rope. And there's a latch on the door, too. They still have the beds. And this can still be opened up. However, when we go in here, this has a bolt that can also be unlocked. Weird. Why would they allow us to unlock it? There's a clock. Thread, scissors. There's a key. There's the bed. There's a wardrobe. And there's a door. There's the entrance. And there are multiple windows here. But the rope is definitely the most defining feature of this room. Oh, there's no latch on this window, though. There's just a latch on the door. I wonder if that was there prior. Possibly. Find how the killer escaped, leaving the door and window locked in this new tower. How did the killer escape leaving both the door and window locked? I get it. This isn't that hard. You think so? Well, if you figured it out, let's go back to when the crime happened. The culprit kills a princess and needs to flee the scene. How do they escape from the top of the tower? Because of where they escaped to. Because the wardrobe. So it's a locked room incident. The princess still died the exact same way. They'd break down the door still. But nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was forced open, meaning they hid inside the wardrobe. The princess's room has no gaps at all between the window and the window frame. The window in the princess's room is in a perfect state. There are no scratches on it. An instruction pamphlet describing a rope trick useful for this case. Advanced rope trickery. Problem. You have a rope tied to a tree, and you want to get it back quickly. This is easy if you have a quick release knot. Just pull from the end of the rope, and the knot comes undone. These knots have some limitations and caveats in the real world, which we'll completely ignore. Pulling the blue rope will undo the knot. You can even tie a second rope to the end of the first one. This lets you retrieve the rope from far away. Weird. Table, mirror. So there's a rope trick added to this for a picture. There is no rope in here, meaning there's a rope in here. But just because there's a rope in here, how would the rope help with anything right now? Because there is no rope in here. Top of the bed, some books. Nothing was tampered with, no evidence or anything like that. So they could have hidden underneath the bed or within the wardrobe if it was big enough. That's a seat. That's a seat. There's a reason why we can unlock this. Weird. So how did the killer escape from the top of the tower? Because of what they used and / because of where they escaped to. I would say it's because of what they used. I would point to the wardrobe for this situation. I can't say I understand what you mean. Because of what they use? Because... That's just a regular door with a regular key. Could they have used a clock for anything? Find how the killer escaped, leaving the door and window locked in this tower. Advanced rope trickery. Is there a crease underneath the door? When inspecting the room, they found the window was bolted shut. The servants gathered together, but no one claimed to know anything. The rooms below the princesses were guest chambers. There is a carpet there. The key found inside the princess's bedroom was the only key capable of opening the door. The princess's room has no gaps at all between the window and the window frame. Yeah, that is a fact. The window in the princess's room is in a perfect state. There are no scratches on it. That's also a fact. This one's a tough one. Because how did the killer escape from the top? They didn't escape? Are they underneath? Or hidden within? Maybe they didn't escape at all. They just hid somewhere. Not a chance. Everyone was gathered after the body was discovered and no one was missing. Escaping from their hiding spot unseen to take part in the roundup would have been possible. Right, I see. Damn. So we could say because of what they used. Because we could assume it's gonna be the rope, since that's a new situation. But what would the rope have done? The killer used a rope, right? To climb down, I mean. Yeah, that! Good. A little obvious, maybe, but of course, that's what the new clues are for. Yeah, and they used, what was it called? Here, a quick release knot. They used that to get the rope back. Perfect, perfect. And what did the killer tie the rope to? What do you mean? You know they would have needed to tie the rope to something, otherwise something funny would have occurred. You just tie it to something. Does it matter what? Of course it does. Getting the details right is important, boss. Let's be precise here. What exactly did the criminal tie the rope to before climbing down? The bedpost? This is a 30-pointer. Could we assume the tip top of the tower? Or we could just assume the tower itself. I see it. What was right in front of us all along? The truth. Shay, cut it out, I'm thinking. If I can't figure it out, what chance do you have? Yes, my dear bosun, I can see you carefully investigating the crime scene, but you're failing to notice that if the rope was tied to something inside the room, then the villain wouldn't have been able to close the window, right? It was due to one of the cards that we saw, where basically there was no gap within the window. Yeah, big deal, I already knew that, so what? It's simple, if the rope wasn't tied to something inside the room, then it must have been tied to something outside of it. Like the tower itself. Oh, really, Shay? The tower? Very smart. Can I keep actually trying to solve this now? You don't see it, do you? But don't fret. I shall gladly explain how the escape took place. The killer climbed onto the roof and closed the window behind them. Then, with the rope in hand, they circled around the tower. After coming back around, they made a knot and climbed down towards freedom, supporting by nothing else than the cursed tower itself. Good job, Pumpkin. Nice thinking outside the box. That's a tough one, too. Hell yeah, thank you, Dad. I mean, of course, it was elementary. He's joking, you dunce. There's no way that's the answer. Tying a rope to something so big is ridiculous. I wasn't kidding. Why is it ridiculous? Oh, I mean, I don't know. It sounded weird because of how Shay explained it. Like, wouldn't you need a lot of rope to do that? But there was. Look, you can tie everything up to make a super rope. But okay, whatever. If Dad says it works, it's fine, I guess. Come on, you're a smart kid. You don't need to take my word for it. Do you think your sister's idea makes sense or not? Yeah, it makes sense. Great, so we're all on the same page here. Now the criminal closed the window from outside the bedroom just before climbing down. But they wouldn't be able to lock it since the bolt is on the inside. So the next question is, how exactly did the killer bolt the window? Because of what they used to bolt it? But the issue is, no one tampered with the evidence after it was... Hold up. Nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was forced open. After the door was forced open. So what possibly ended up happening was they had the key. They grabbed the key. Ooh, that one's a little tricky. I was gonna say, because of like them able to grab the key, but no one messed with the room afterwards, meaning there was no time to place it because everyone was gathered. So the victim was smothered with a pillow. The rooms below the princess's chamber were guest rooms. So the rope was basically for the climbing, but the rope wouldn't have been used for this. So how did the killer bolt the window? Because of what they used to bolt it. But then at that point, the question is, what did they use to bolt it? There's no gaps in the window. So it would have to be the timing of when they bolted it. Right? But then at that point, what time would they have bolted it? And there are no scratches on the window either, meaning that wasn't messed with. The only key to get into the princess's room is basically right here. Dude, how they bolted it is kind of a tough one. Because you can only like deduce and maybe assume. You can only assume. I can't deduce why. Maybe you can deduce, but yeah. Let's go for a hint. The killer set up something inside the room before escaping through the window. What was it? That's tough. What would they have set up? I need another hint. The killer bolted the window from outside the room. What could be used to manipulate the bolt from far away? Was it another rope? So they used something from the outside, but then at that point, What could have been used from the outside to bolt this window? Because there's no gap, so they used something from the outside? So it's because of what they used to bolt it. But then at that point, the question is, what did they use to bolt it? Was it more rope? Am I just losing it there? Oh, the bad guy tied another rope to the lock. I like that, but there's a problem with that. Do you know what I'm talking about? I know, the killer's outside of the room, but the bolt's on the inside. Because everything is closed, you can't pass a rope inside. No? Why not? Well, the ropes are pretty thick, Cherry. You wouldn't be able to fit them through. Oh, okay, I get it. Better luck next time, Shay. Because of what they used. Did they thread a needle? I would go with threads at this point, because it's the only thing that can fit through the gap. Once the killer left the bedroom, accessing the bolt seems impossible. Unless, of course, they locked it from far away, which could be easily done with the gentle pull of a thread. A thread? The string went from the lock thingy through the keyhole. Oh my god! No way! And out of the room. After the bad guy climbed down, they merrily returned to the room from outside. And with a simple pull of the thread, they bolted the window shut. Then, using the secret rope arts, they recovered the thread from the scene. A thread is just a tiny rope after all. They did thread the needle! That's so sick! And thus, the ruse was complete. Is that right? It sure is. Very nice, Pumpkin. You got it. Just doing my job, sir. What? She's right again? No way. Yes way, bow down, bozo. Ace detective coming through. What's going on? No, wait. That doesn't make sense. Why not? To lock the window, you have to push the bolt to the side. If you pull from the door, you're pulling the wrong way. You can't lock the window like that. Oh, that's it? Yeah, that means you're wrong. Not really, though. No, he's got a point. Pulling the bolt away from the window wouldn't quite lock it. I don't get it. Isn't it easy to make it work anyway? Love the confidence. Alright, I'm all ears, Cherry. How did the criminal manage to slide the bolt sideways? Because of how they pulled. Not with great force. But how would they pull to the left is a question. What did they use? To the left, to the right. So if I was to pull something like this, pulling something straight would just make the thing go straight. Pulling something this way. So I have a wire in my hand, right? pulling something this way, if it's curving, will make it basically like, go right. So like, it's kind of a hook. But if I pull something the opposite way, it'll then start like slowly pulling in that direction. So you would want to pull to the opposite. So I want to say pulling to the right would be the correct answer. No, it's not. Or it could be how they're utilizing the pull to be able to claim the rope back afterwards. Because of what else they use. So they're pulling from the bed. Oh, because they use the thread through the bed because they're able to pull from the sheets, and then it can force it to, like, because of that, if they pull it like that, it would make possibly the other one go like, it would make the lock go to the side because of that. The bad guy just wrapped the string around something in the room. So the string went like this. I do love the deductive reasoning though. It's like you can more than likely actually think about it and it will be true. Because like I was thinking about like how you would pull something, right? But I think it's like I didn't add the extra solution of a layer of another item being utilized for that. So yeah. So the string went like this. And then like that. That way, when they pulled on the string, the lock moved to the left. Oh. And that, my dear bosun, it's how it's done. You got it. You've got it, baby. You're on fire today. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was. I did it. Case solved. Fantastic work, kiddos. Let's review. After committing the crime, what did the criminal do? They tied a little string to the window. Exactly, and they passed it through the keyhole so that the end of the string could be pulled from outside. When they took a second string, tied it to the first one, and repeated the process, this would let them remove it later. The criminal then climbed onto the roof and closed the window right behind them. What happened after that? The killer went around the tower holding a rope. Then they tied it and used it to climb down. There you go. And don't forget, the killer used 2 ropes here as well. And after the killer snuck into the guest room, they pulled the second rope down to retrieve everything. Having escaped, they quietly went back upstairs to the princess's room and pulled the strings passing through the keyhole, bolting the window shut. Then they pulled the second string to retrieve everything from the scene using the same trick as before. And without any clues left behind, the locked room mystery was completed. Mystery solved. Hell yeah, brother. Good job, Sherry. Damn, we got a B, but a B still solid. The question of how did the killer bolt the window was one of the toughest. Because, yeah, who would have thought thread the needle? How did the killer escape from the top of the tower as well? I overthink that. It was definitely with the ropes. So, I should have gotten that one right. It's a B. It's passable. Tad, Shay's cheating. Whoa, where does that come from? Come on, your sister wouldn't do that. Yeah, that'd be lame. She's trying to trick you, Dad. There's no way she figured out everything by herself. Huh? Why not? Besides, the story is rare, Chief. She couldn't have known it beforehand if that's what you're suggesting. But then how? My awesome detective skills, duh. So you seriously just came up with all of that? You're kidding, right? Nope. That makes no sense. All you do is, oh, that's elementary, pretending you're smart or something. I'm the one who's actually trying to become a detective. You just can't figure out things faster than me. Bo, you're like those police people that say the obvious wrong things before the real detective shows up. You're trying to be a detective, but I'm already one. I'm Sherry, the super detective. I can solve anything. No, you're not. You're just pretending. See, that's what I'm saying. Obvious. If you can't even see I'm a real detective, how are you going to see anything else? Boring people can only solve boring mysteries. What did you say? Hold on, time out. As fun as it is to see you two bicker, give me a hand cleaning up first, alright? Okay. Shay, wait. Tell me how you actually solved it, for real this time. Hey! La la la, I'm not listening. Shay, stop. Stop ignoring me, Shay. Shay! Damn. That was a good one. That was a good puzzle. And then now we got the Shadow of the Goat. We're gonna take a quick moment just to reset our thinking process, but then we'll start with Shadow of the Goat. So yeah, stay tuned, dudes, as we continue. Hello, we are back. Let us continue with the Shadow of the Goat. This story took place during a masquerade ball. The host was a man donning a leopard mask. Leopard opened the doors of his castle and welcomed a myriad of guests that filled the main hall. While the evening started on a pleasant note, trouble started brewing around a man wearing a goat mask. The man in question was a noble nobody. The man in question was a noble nobody was fond of. He was having heated discussions with the other guests. Drunk, he blurted out that he had studied the occult and was capable of disappearing from any locked room. People laughed at him, but the goat doubled down, daring everyone to put some money on the line. 6 people accepted his wager: lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox. Led by Goat, they moved to a secluded part of the castle. After descending a flight of stairs, they arrived at a dark dungeon hall. Deeper in the dungeon, behind a wooden door, was a cell corridor thinly illuminated by the moonlight. Goat lit up a pair of candles and offered them to the group, allowing them to inspect the place as they saw fit. After a thorough inspection, the group found no means of escape. Goat himself was also searched, revealing only an ancient book in his possession. Cute that they actually have all the masks on. Once everyone was satisfied, Goat took one of the candles and instructed everyone to wait in the dungeon hall. Sorry. He grinned in the candlelight as the group closed the door, sealing him away. Nervous chatter filled the air as the group waited anxiously in the hall. Deer holding the second candle illuminated the wooden door the entire time. 15 minutes later, a piercing shriek resonated throughout the dungeon. When Deer opened the door, he froze up. Everyone saw the same thing, a lone flickering light coming from the last cell. The group rushed forward in an excited panic. There they discovered the candle and the book abandoned on the cell floor, but Goat was missing. Everyone quickly checked all the cells, but to their shock, Goat wasn't in any of them. Al then revealed that after seeing people rushed in, he stood behind to block the exit. While the group searched, he felt no one going past him. The barred windows were tightly secured, and there was nothing inside the dungeon that could explain the escape. As promised, Goat had disappeared. Okay, so he disappeared. Hold on, Chief. Who said I'm finished? Huh? You didn't? Yeah, the night didn't end there, because... 15 minutes after Goat vanished as the group searched the dungeon for him, he was spotted in the main hall. Witnesses saw him having a conversation with Leopard before the two left together. Castle guards reported that they headed towards Leopard's chambers. Another 15 minutes passed before the group returned defeated from the dungeon. They were in disbelief when people told them Goat had been seen leaving with Leopard. Sensing something was wrong, they decided to split up and search for them. Most members of the group didn't find anything until several screams echoed in the distance. People started arriving one by one at the source of the commotion, the castle armory. Everyone noticed broken pieces of a barricade, indicating the door had been forced open. Inside the room, Fox tried to wake up a battered and unconscious lion who sat beneath a window. Nobody knew what was happening, but one fact was certain: Goat was not present in the armory either. Fox then gave her testimony of what took place. After they went their separate ways, strange noises coming from the armory prompted her to investigate. She tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. She raised her voice asking if anyone was inside. Suddenly, she heard a scream from Lion, followed by a brief struggle and the sound of glass shattering. Then silence. In a panic, she grabbed an axe hanging just outside the armory and struck the door until it opened. Lion was lying collapsed beneath the window, but nobody else was there. Fox stayed by Lion's side until the rest of the group arrived. After Lion woke up, they asked him what had happened as well. He recounted finding Goat lurking in the armory. He questioned him about Leopard, but he played the fool. They argued until Lion heard Fox's voice through the door. Before he could answer, Goat abruptly pulled up a knife and stabbed him. A struggle ensued. Lion managed to wrestle the knife away from him. However, he was forcibly pushed against a window, losing consciousness as he hit his head. But just before he did, he was certain that Goat was standing right next to him. When he woke up, he was surrounded by Fox and the rest of the group. Then everyone had a horrible realization. Nobody had seen Leopard yet. In a frantic sprint, the group ran towards his chambers. The door was locked. They breached the room only to find Leopard dead on the floor. The police arrived at the scene but found themselves terribly puzzled. Every corner inside the castle was searched, but there was no conceivable hiding spots. The area outside the castle was inspected, but there were no traces of an escape. Everyone's masks were removed, but not a single one revealed the man behind the goat mask. He had disappeared again. At last, everyone believed him. This air, this foul stench. Just what on earth happened here? What? I didn't say anything. Just do whatever you want, like you always do. Okay. I don't know where to start anyways. This looks really complicated. It does, Bo. It does. True. How did the first part go again? Yeah, it's a lot to take in, right? But I have absolute confidence you two will figure it out. Just take your time, talk to each other. You've got this. Due to the complexity of the case, the cards have been split up between all the dioramas. It is recommended to start by reviewing all the available evidence. Oh. Was that deer? Leopard? Find the truth behind the disappearance and the attacks committed in the castle. The dioramas show how the castle looked when the police arrived. Group photo of the people involved. Guards outside the castle watched over the bridge and reported that no one left all night. There were no footprints or traces in the dirt surrounding the castle. Everyone had access to the castle rooftop. Goat's mask was unique. There weren't any duplicates. Goat is a master at faking other people's voices. Goat had one accomplice that night. How did Goat disappear multiple times inside the castle? So they all had a unique appearance for the most part. Black tie, red bow tie with red like undershirt or sash, middle sash. Black bow tie, red ribbon with black dress. Brown shoes. Black bow tie, but with like long black sleeves. Blue, basically blue sash, and green undershirt along with green mask. The dioramas of the rooms are mirrored. The windows lead to the moat, not the courtyard. 15 minutes after Goat vanished in the dungeon, he was seen in the main hall with Leopard. I'll be right back. I need a drink of water. Alright, I'm back. Still have a little bit of a cough, but we'll try to make it work. So shield, Leopard's body, but there's a there's a bloody handkerchief there. There's some notes here, documents, a quill, chair, candle, shield, window, wardrobe, bed, rug, chainmail, oh, cute. Our thing is like a little, lantern. Wheat bag, rope, shackles, pickaxe, stone, window. This can open. Prison bed. Cell window, prison bed, torch. Weird. So bloody book, but we could turn the candle off. This door can be opened and closed. Mannequin, chainmail. There is chainmail missing from this mannequin. Cup. Lion's duplicate clothes and more bloody handkerchiefs, some coins around. Swords, lion's body, and there's a little bit of a blood mark on the window. There is a sword missing from here, or a knife. Shield. There's a bloody knife. coins table. Broken plank with an axe. Broken plank. I don't see any blood. So we have 1, 2, 3 sections that we've checked out. We have a boat, stone gate, entrance, bridge, castle, courtyard, gate, castle. Didn't they say the roofs were like available? This is hard. Oh, really? Shouldn't you have all the answers by now? Stop saying that. Whoa, that's a scary face. Whoa, that's a scary face there you're making, baby. Dad, he keeps bothering me since the last case. He's so annoying. Make him stop. Stop crying. I'm just making sure you're not a cheater. I mean, if you're so smart, they should be easy too, right? What's the solution, Shay? You don't know? I'm not telling. You're just asking because you're stuck. No, I'm not. I know more than you do, at least. If you both know some parts of the story, let's put everything together, yeah? See if we can complete the puzzle. Fine, let's see if you know something I don't know, Shay. Probably. Excellent. Excellent. I think let's start by understanding how the first disappearance happened. If you recall, Goat was sealed away in the castle's dungeon. However, when the group opened the door and checked, he was nowhere to be found. So what's the secret? Did he slip out without anyone noticing? He did have one accomplice. So because of that accomplice and everything, on an immediate basis, when you look at it, everything is dark, like, except for the final room. So you have, like, basically people going to the final room, and you could have, them go up here. Where is it? Lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox took him on the bed. Leopard was not present. The group arrived at the dark dungeon. After inspecting it, they found no means of escape. Goat was also patted down, and there was nothing on his person but an ancient book. The group left Goat alone in the cell corridor with a single candle and closed the door. Everyone waited in the dungeon hall. Deer illuminated the door the whole time. After 15 minutes passed, a loud shriek resonated behind the door. Deer opened the door. Everyone saw candlelight shining from the last cell. They rushed to the last cell where only the candle and the book remained. The group inspected all the cells, but Goat was gone. Nothing strange was found either. Owl revealed that after seeing people rush in, he moved to block the entry to the cell corridor. Owl didn't feel anyone forcing their way out while the group inspected the dungeon. Owl isn't the accomplice, he is telling the truth. Why? So let's inspect a little more, right? Lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox took him on the bet, but leopard was not present. If leopard wasn't present, there could be an additional leopard mask. Lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, fox. Nothing on his person but an ancient book. Is it because of when he escaped? Because of where he was? Because of what he used? Because of where he was? It's the first hint. There really was no opportunity for Goat to escape while the group blocked the wooden door. What does that mean? Was he hiding behind the wooden door? Near the door. He hid behind the door. Everyone ran to the light, so the bad guy just had to be quiet. Well, there's a few things that strike me as odd if that had happened, but sure, that could work. The problem is Owl kept guard over the exit to make sure no one got out. And even in the darkness, with the help of the candles, someone would have eventually noticed him. So hiding behind the door doesn't fully explain how Goat managed to sneak away. So partial answer, no penalty. Because of what he used. Shackles. First cell, second cell, third cell, fourth cell. Bloody book. What is another hint? Goat has a talent mentioned in one of the cards. If he had certain items at his disposal, what would that allow him to do? So would it be of what he used? Which would have been the bloody book? Or what he used, which could have been the candle, maybe? My deductive reasoning has failed me. What if he didn't escape? Yeah, I was thinking that too. There was a lion mask in the armory. I didn't say it just because of that. Goat was able to mimic voices, right? And he was similar to Lion too. So if Goat had his mask, he'd be able to trick the others into thinking he was Lion. Nice, I like what I'm hearing. There's no way to escape in such a short period of time, so you're on the right track here. But answer me this, if Goat was disguised as Lion when the group was looking for him, how did nobody notice there were two lions? In fact, why didn't Lion notice there was another lion lurking around? Surely he would have noticed. Oh, that? Oh, the reason is quite simple. So that one's because they stayed in different cells? But that still doesn't make sense, right? What if he didn't escape? But then how would he have been able to... Well, this one's an easy one, right? It's because they were in... they stayed in different cells. What if Goat stayed in one cell the whole time as long as Lion never got in? It'd work, right? Even if they were in different cells, someone going from one cell into the next one would realize something's wrong. But maybe Goat was careful and he stayed in the dark the whole time. It's not impossible, but it's a narrow space, Chief. He'd have to be pretty lucky to be not found out. The real trick Goat used had more chances of succeeding than that one. Holy shit. Because of what Goat used? No, we went over this already, though. Wait, 3 hints and basically you're just given the solution. I hate that, dude. Why did they not notice? Do we have something on Lion? Wait a second, isn't it because Lion was over here inside the armory? There were never two lions in the room. The real lion was never went through the door at all. Huh? Why not? Because he was an agent of evil with a heart as dark as his night. What does that mean? It means they were working together. I see, I get it. They switched. Precisely. This trick was a two-man act. The mastermind goat, the lackey lion. While Goat was trapped, he disguised himself as his partner. He faked a scream and hid like a weasel in the darkness of one of the cells. When the group ran inside, they flew right behind him. They flew right by him, blinded by the light of the candle. Not noticing that a certain someone had stayed behind. Right, Lion. The group entered without him. Nobody realized that because it was dark. And while they were checking the last cell, Goat blended in and took his place. Yeah. Exactly, you guys are crushing it so far. It's as you said, there's only so much you can do alone. Thankfully for Goat, he had a partner in crime. So, is that it? Have we explained everything that took place in the dungeon? I think so. Well, there's something, but maybe it's obvious. If it is obvious to you, boss, it is obvious. So, fire away. Okay, how did Goat even get Lion's clothes? I mean, they weren't in the dungeon when the group checked the first time. And Goat wasn't hiding them with him either. Oh, I bet it's not that hard to do, you just do it somehow. No, details, that's what it's all about. You're right, Chief. That's what I was waiting to hear. How did Goat get Lion's mask and clothes to make the switch? Figure that out and you'll start unraveling this whole thing. Because of what he used? Lion's duplicate clothes? Yeah, that's a disguise, but how did Goat manage to get it while he was locked up? Because of when he received it. A goat is sealed. Basically before the goat got sealed. I understand. The costume was in the dungeon from the start. No, the group would have found it when they were looking for escape routes. Oh, and what if Goatman was hiding the costume himself? Not possible either. He was checked and he didn't have anything suspicious like that on him. But they didn't check Lion. He was the one who had it. And he hid in one of the cells while everyone was getting out. No one noticed because it was dark. But how did no one see him carrying the costume? He wore double mask and double suits. He just looked a little more chubby than usual. I don't know, Pumpkin. It seems like that's the kind of thing you'd notice. The other thing is, how did Goat get rid of his own clothes? Because they weren't in the dungeon. Easy, he threw them through the window. Into the moat, huh? That'd work, I suppose. But then there's another problem. Goat was seen soon after in the main hall. That wouldn't be possible if the goat mask was floating outside the castle at that moment. Maybe there was another mask? If there were two lion masks, why not two goat masks? Because one of the cards said that it was a unique one. Huh. You've got an answer for everything, Cherry, but we know for certain that Goat's mask was unique. Hey, it's a pretty good idea though, but I'm afraid I'm looking for a different answer here. Reasonable answer, no penalty. Cute. Because of what he used. Then wouldn't it be after the scream is heard between Goat, Seal? No, it wouldn't. Hint. What's the only way you could slip something into the dungeon cells? Oh my god. Because of what he used. The window. If the mask wasn't in the dungeon in the first place, it had to come through the windows, right? Good, but what is right outside those windows? Water? Correct. The windows lead to the moat, so it's not so obvious how Goat would have gotten the disguise. You're onto something, but your answer is going to have to be more specific. So, because of what he used a boat. Maybe the clothes were on the boat, and the boat was closed so he could grab them. That's a good idea, but it wouldn't work, Pumpkin. The cell windows are too high up. The boat possibly floating away would also be a problem. Not if the lion guy was on the boat. That's right, he delivered the goods himself. No, what are you saying? Lion was waiting in the dungeon with the rest of the group. Maybe he secretly left just after they trapped Goatman. You don't know. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, no, it'd be too risky even if they could leave completely unnoticed. What if someone tried to talk to him? He wouldn't be able to answer once he was gone. It's not a bad idea, but we want a solution that's more reasonable to pull off than that. I do like how they have responses for situations like that. So could it be stairs? Because he could have gone up and then he could have, like, used a rope. I see. So this is a trick in the tower. So this is like the trick in the tower, Shay. It is? You mean the one with the rope? Oh, a rope. That's a good one. Yeah, they were never going to find anything inside the dungeon. Because the costume was outside. Goat put Lion's costume inside a bag, tied it to a rope, and dropped it downstairs. The rope dangled right next to one of the prison windows. You just needed to stick your hand out and you'd be able to reach it. Perfect. Couldn't have explained it better myself. The fog of doubt clears up, one mystery at a time. So that's how the first trick was done, but we're not quite done yet. There's a bunch of stuff that happened after that, right? Exactly. Let's back up a bit and focus on what happened right after Goat disappeared inside the dungeon. People saw him again with the dead guy. Wait, that's weird. We just said Goat didn't actually escape from the dungeon. Oh ho, you didn't figure that out yet, Bosun? What, you did? Shut up and give me a second. It was Lion in disguise. Right, just like Goat pretended to be Lion, Lion pretended to be Goat. Ding ding. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for Dad to give me the green light here. Oh, she's my substitute. I'm running out of steam here. Give it another go, Cherry. Ding, ding, ding. Huh. That said, how did Lion end up with a goat mask? Goat had his mask when he was locked inside the dungeon, so how did Lion manage to obtain it from outside? I think Shay wants to answer that since she already knows so much. From the bag, right? The goatman got rid of the bag, got rid of his mask and put it inside the bag. That's why nobody found it after that. And all the lion guy had to do was pull up the rope, open the bag, and there you go. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that too. Yeah, because the roofs are basically like free reign. Perfect, those are my detectives. We've made some great progress. We've explained how Goat disappeared and how it's possible he was seen shortly after in the main hall. Moreover, we've uncovered the fact that Goat and Lion were accomplices, so we know quite a bit at this point. But there are two issues we haven't touched on yet. The attacks in Leopard's room and in the armory. What happened in the armory is particularly confusing. Goat disappeared again and Lion was assaulted. But now that we know Lion and Goat were together, Lion being there doesn't seem like such a coincidence, does it? Well, it's weird that he got stabbed if he was a bad guy as well. Maybe they had a fight. Maybe. Well, that's part of what you gotta figure out. Why don't you take another look at the clues again? Maybe after knowing what happened in the dungeon, you can make some deductions. You do that, and once you're ready, we'll figure out together the truth behind it all. Yeah, let's do it. What happened? I spy with my little eye tricks and buffoonery. I shall leave no clue unturned. Yes, quite brutal. What's this? Oh, the villains were cunning indeed. I see. What, did you think of something? Bosun, my boy, I'm afraid there's too much I see right now. Yeah, so there's a lot that went down, wasn't there? So where should we begin? How Goat escaped from the armory elementarily. We could start there. Sorry. We could start there, yes, but let me give you a hand here. There's something that you might have missed. It's something that's not easy to think about, but it will give you a better view of what happened. What I want you to think about is this. Who planned Leopard's murder? Who planned it? Wasn't it Lion and Goat? They were working together, right? We did say that, yes, but Lion testified Goat stabbed him and ran away. Yeah, but... So is it a trick, or was it an actual betrayal? Did everything go as planned, or not exactly? The key to understanding that is asking ourselves why Leopard's murder happened in the way it did. So, what do you think? I'll let you simmer for a bit. Who planned Leopard's murder? Goat, Lion, both, or Leopard? Wasn't Leopard still missing at this point? No, Goat was seen with Leopard. An unconscious Lion. Wouldn't it be Leopard at this point? That's an interesting answer, but nothing suggests Leopard was so eager to kick the bucket. So, goat, lion, or both? Well, the one that is down would basically be the one planning it. So, lion. I'm not sure. This is kind of confusing. Is that so? I'm afraid I can't relate. I see the truth clear as day. Of course. Spit it out then. What is it? You just need to put your detective hat on, bosun. Riddle me this. Who would blame people for Leopard's death? Goat, I guess. People saw him with Leopard before he died. Quite, but in truth, who killed him? I don't know, do you? Is it because, like, Leopard and Lion were basically fighting each other? It's crystal clear it was Lion, no, because he had traded places with Goat. What else was Lion planning to do with Leopard if not kill him? Talk? Play checkers? There are some papers in the room, maybe that. Then what reason could Lion have to change masks? That is weird. It's simple, really. He put on the goat mask to pin the murder on him. What? But they were working together, Shay. I mean, unless Goat only knew the dungeon trick and nothing else. 'Tis the natural conclusion Lion was plotting a ruse of his own against his partner. While Goat gave him an alibi by pretending to be him in the dungeon, Lion took Goat's identity to commit murder. He was no lackey, he was a true mastermind all along. Case solved. Not even close, but Okay, yeah, it makes sense. So maybe Lion being attacked wasn't a trick after all. Yeah, and I know how he got away too. Huh, really? Look at this, the lion guy was knocked out slightly below the window, which means it's possible the goat man escaped through the window after hitting the lion guy. But he'd fall into the water then. So is that really it? Actually, listen, what if he was just hiding behind the door when Fox came in? And while Fox was checking on Lion, Goat just left. That works. Okay, let me interrupt 1 second. You're doing great, though. I like where this is going. Leaving through the window or through the door, both are perfectly possible at first glance. But after leaving the armory, what then? What did Goat do? He ran away because he was in the castle. How? The guards didn't see anyone leaving through the front gate. And there wasn't any footprints outside the castle. You see, it's not leaving the armory that's a problem. The real head scratcher here is how Goat managed to escape from the castle. That's the big question, the most important one yet. So let's hear your answer. How did Goat vanish a second time? He took a new identity. He never escaped, the police just didn't notice it was him. Goat used his mastery of deception once again. He disposed of his mask and took a new identity just like he had done before. No, that's not it. Everyone got rid of their mask when the police arrived. People knew what Goat looked like behind his mask, so they would have recognized him. But what if he was pretending to be Lion? They would never check him. Why not? Because he was hurt and it would be rude to bother him. Sorry to say, Pumpkin, officers can be rude too. Oh, well, they shouldn't. So he didn't take on a new identity. How did Goat leave the castle without being seen, without leaving traces? Wouldn't it have been the moat or like the boat? Because of what he used. The boat. I understand. You were right, Shay. He used a window to get out. But he used something else too, the boat. He must have left it floating near the armory. And to escape, he hopped onto it and rowed towards the docks. He tied the boat again to make it seem like it wasn't used, and then he disappeared. Alright, I like the idea, but how exactly would he disappear? Could you be a bit more specific? Sorry, Dad. What do you mean? Remember, the police didn't find him in the castle. The police arrived and searched every corner of the castle, but Goat was nowhere to be found. The main gate was guarded the whole time, too. And there were no footprints or traces in the dirt surrounding the castle, either. So even if Goat had done what you said, it doesn't ultimately explain how he got away. The trick is something else entirely. Alright. Interesting. Hint time. Goat couldn't have done it alone. Well, wasn't Goat's accomplice, it wasn't Leopard, it was Lion, right? I think Lion helped somehow. Nope. We said he was trying to frame Goatman. Then how did he escape, huh? I don't know. Sure, it's got a point, boss, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. I'll let you in on this. Lion had something to do with it. Goat wouldn't have been able to pull it off on his own. I'll leave you to figure out exactly what happened. Give 6 unique partial answers. You're technically correct. Because of what he used. It's Lion's duplicate clothes, but we already said that the identity couldn't be him. Because of where he was? So he was on top of the castle? He hid on the roof. No, that wouldn't be enough. There was easy access to the roof after all. The police would have looked up there. Alright, I need another hint. Goat wasn't found inside the castle, but there was no evidence of him leaving either. So where was he? How did he get there? Was he in Leopard's room? Freaking Christ, dude. The dungeon, it was dark, right? Nothing a little light couldn't fix. Where was he, my dude? Did he hide in a barrel or something? Inside a barrel? No, why wouldn't the police check there? They would have found him, I guess. In the water? I'm up for ridiculous answers. Maybe he was underwater? Are you asking me, or is that your answer? He was underwater. Correct. Really? But you'll need to clarify what you mean for me. What exactly was Goat doing in the moat? He was hiding. He had a secret technique to breathe underwater. No, there was a hidden cave under the castle. None of those are part of the evidence, Sherry. He wouldn't have been able to stay there forever, and if he had to surface, the police would have spotted him. Someone threw him. Oh, he had an accident during his escape. Because of the blood on the window. Maybe. Did he hit his head while he was trying to escape? So he just fell and died? It's a possibility, but the body would have eventually surfaced in that case. Also, if that's what happened to Goat, there'd be many things in the armory that would remain unexplained. So I'm afraid that's not it. Someone threw him? Who threw him? Hold on, I just realized something. If Goat didn't kill anyone, why would he even escape? Because Lion Man set him up for killing the other guy, remember? He had to run away. No, but that's dumb. If he was framed, he should have stayed and cleared his name. True, Bosun, true. But that's kind of funny. That means Lion had to kill Goatman. It does? Yeah, you just said it. If Goatman talks to the cops, he'd tell them they'd switch places. So then, wouldn't Lion have to kill Goatman so he wouldn't have spilled the beans? I guess that's true, huh? But it looks like Lion got stabbed instead. Very mysterious. Let us try to reconstruct what happened. Perhaps it will lead us to the truth. The two men gather in the armory. Goat is distracted. And then betrayal. Lion pulls up a knife, attacks, and Goat turns around and stops the knife with his mouth. And then he was like, I knew all along. And Lion is like, what? And no, wait, Jay, I got it. Right, it was so obvious. There were no footprints outside because Goatman didn't actually escape. And the police didn't find him because they had something wrong. They thought he was alive, but he was deep underwater, dead. Oh, I get it. You're right. I wasn't thinking that. It's like you said, Shay, Lion getting stabbed was a trick. The truth is that Lion killed Goat. But he was to hide the body because Lion wanted to frame Goat for everything. So he probably had a bag full of heavy things somewhere. After killing Goat, he tied the bag to the body and then bam, dumped it through the window. Excellent. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, awesome. High five. Yeah. You kids are getting too good at this. You'll put me out of a job if I'm not careful. You think so? I know so. That said, sorry to cut the celebration short, but there's a little something you haven't explained yet. Don't get me wrong, for all intents and purposes, you've got the bad guys, but let's make sure we understand exactly what happened, alright? Alright. Great, that's what I like to hear. Then, let's start with this. When exactly did the killing take place? When the group splits up. Well, after killing Goat, you need some time to weigh down the body and do everything. So it must have been before Fox knocked on the door. Exactly, Chief. But if that's the case, what part of the crime scene doesn't seem to make sense? The broken barricade. Why did he block the door with a plank? That's weird. Not really. Lion didn't want to be interrupted when he was disposing of the body. Wait, didn't Lion have a key that could have opened all the doors? Why use a plank? Good question. Maybe he threw away the key with the body. He wouldn't want it to be found with it. He wouldn't want to be found with it overall. So the duplicate clothes? Why were Lion's clothes on the table? That doesn't make sense. Why not? Goat could have exchanged his disguise for his original clothes and mask before he was killed. That explain it. Why is it like basically I'm getting this on reverse? Lion stab wound? Why is that weird? The lion guy lied. He wasn't really attacked because Goat was dead by now. I'm dumb. The fight the fox lady heard behind the door was all fake. Correct again. Oh, so if Lion wasn't really attacked, then how was he stabbed? Himself. He did it himself. It's a trick. Alright, how do you figure? Because it sounds like that's the answer. That's a compelling argument, but aren't there any other reasons? I know. If Lion had been stabbed by Goat, he wouldn't have been able to dump the body. His wound was deep and heavy. People are heavy. And he would have spilled blood everywhere. So he must have been okay while he was throwing the body. Which means the only possible culprit for the stabbing was himself. Or not, maybe that's too much. Nah, you're right, boss. Chin up. And you do make a good point there. It is too much. This is where I wanted us to end up. Nobody could stab Lion but himself, but why would he even do that? Goat's body was already disposed of by the time Fox arrived, so why not simply open the door for her? If you think about it, the reason we discovered that happened to Goat was because we investigated the armory, which only occurred because Lion got attacked there. Calling attention to the place where he killed someone minutes before doesn't sound very smart, does it? This means that Lion must have had a strong reason for fabricating this lie, and that's the last riddle of the night. Why did Lion stab himself? I see, there's a mystery remaining. It seems difficult. But if we just think about it, the truth that the treacherous masterminds tried to sink into the ocean, we'll have no choice but to float back to the surface. No choice. Oh, I got it. It's simple. I know what it is. You do? What is it? The floor is all yours, Pumpkin. Send us off with your answer. Why did Lion stab himself? To make Goat more suspicious. It was to make the Goat Man more suspicious and evil, and to make himself the victim. There's some of that, yes, but that's not enough motive. Why didn't Lion just pretend he didn't know anything? He could have just avoided an investigation in the armory. Ultimately, it's about shifting blame. You've got that right, but there's a very specific reason behind it. I mean, at that point, it's just the other answer because of what forced him to do it. Because of the bloody knife? All right. Okay, we've come a long way to understand everything that happened. Let's take it from the top. Starting with our villains, we had two this time around, yeah? Who were they? Lion and Goat, right? Right. This whole thing started when those two made a pact weeks before everything went down. You see, Lion had a bit of a gambling problem and was deep in debt. He reached out to Goat with a plan to swindle a couple of fools out of their money. So, the night of the party came. The two men riled each other up, which is when Goat brought up the bet. Lion accepted immediately and managed to get a few more people into the ruse. Then everyone went down to the dungeon. The place was searched, but there was nothing to find. And just like that, Goat was sealed away. What did he do then? He grabbed Lion's clothes. They were tied up to a bag that was just outside the window. Yeah, and then he dressed up as the Lion guy and put his own clothes into the bag so nobody could find them after that. Exactly. Then he played a little trick by putting the book and the candle in the last cell. Not really important. And after a little while, he screamed at the top of his lungs and hid. Then what? Everyone saw the candlelight from the last cell. They must have thought something bad happened to him to cause that scream. So they all ran. They ran all the way to the end. Everyone except for Lion. Right, Lion was in on it. The whole trick was that Goat would pretend he was Lion. This was possible because they all wore masks and Goat had a talent for mimicking voices. So they made the switch, right? When exactly? The group arrived at the last cell, one person short without realizing it. And while they were scared and confused, Goat sneakily appeared behind them. Thus, the ruse was completed. Yeah, so Goat would keep up the charade for a bit longer as the group tried to find him in the dungeon. And once everyone gave up, Goat and Lion would switch places again and collect the money. Or at least, that's what Goat thought would happen, but unbeknownst to him, Lion had plans of his own. He wanted money, but not the chump change he'd get away with a little bit. He was looking to get much more than that night. He didn't bring it up because he doesn't relate to how the crime occurred. Because it doesn't relate to how the crime occurred. But Leopard and Lion were uncle and nephew. Leopard didn't have any children to speak of, and Lion was the closest relative he had. So if Leopard died, Lion would inherit most of his estate. So what Lion was really after when he made the pact with Goat was an ironclad alibi. After all, once a switch occurred, everyone would believe that Lion was there inspecting the dungeon with them, which means the real Lion was free to do as he pleased without accountability. So he went up to the roof and pulled up the rope and bag containing Goat's clothes, then changed into them. From that point onwards, everyone would see him as Goat. He would then go to the party and took Leopard to a place where they could be alone. Everyone saw this, which was exactly what Lion wanted. Oh, but Lion didn't know how to mimic voices, right? Yeah, I was about to actually mention that. Wouldn't people know it was him? Only if they talked to him. But he only talked to Leopard. Yeah, but then Leopard would have known. What if he did? In fact, that would explain why Leopard went along so easily, since he and Lion are related. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if he knew or he didn't because of what happened right after. Oh, true. How evil. Lion killed Leopard, stole his key, and locked the door. Locking the door was just so nobody had to find the body. After all, Lion still had things to do that night. He wanted to kill Goat too, right? Because he'd tell people what really happened. Yeah, so he waited for him at the armory. That he did, and why did Goat happen to be there as well? Was that a coincidence? They were going to exchange clothes there, weren't they? That's right, the dungeon trick was going to conclude with the two men meeting in the armory and trading costumes, which gave Lion the perfect opportunity to kill Goat before he realized what was happening. Now, before committing any crimes, Lion exercised a bit of patience. He made sure to let Goat change out of the Lion costume and put his own clothes back on. Because if Goat's body ever floated back up, Lion didn't want any evidence linking back to him. Oh, that makes sense. So he waited until Goat put on his own clothes again. Goat in turn placed the Lion disguise on the table. And then he was killed, just like the Leopard was. Lion, you lying bastard. Lion cleaned the knife and placed it on the table. Then he barricaded the door so he wouldn't be interrupted. Very good idea, it turned out. He dragged the body beside the window, then took a bag that was hidden in the corner of the room. The bag was heavy. What was in it? It was a missing armor. That's a solid candidate. He could have also used a few cannonballs as well. So Lion tied the bag to Goat's body and threw it out of the window, letting him sink to the bottom of the moat. But that's when something very unfortunate happened to our favorite criminal. What was it? Fox. The fox girl heard him making a ruckus, so she came to check. And why was that a problem? I see. It was clearly when I see it clearly when I close my eyes. There was a blood stain. The villain just threw the body out the window. Somebody knocks on the door. A familiar voice is heard. Lion looks around in a panic. There's blood on the ground, on the table. The murder weapon shines in the moonlight. Time stops. What should he do? Should he wait in silence? Nay, he didn't know why someone was looking for him. Perhaps Leopard had been found already. If the fox lady insists on entering, finding him in that state would be quite incriminating. Then should he grab everything and flee? But officers would surely notice the blood on the scene. With Goat still missing, the case would be too obvious. They would eventually find the body and most likely the truth. So what then? What should he do? Naturally, he should create another explanation for the blood in the room. He had made Goat a villain already. Perhaps he could do it again. Time started ticking again. The lion screamed and pretended to have a fight with himself for the fox to hear. He took the knife, went towards the window, and full of resolve, he stabbed himself. He threw the knife away from him, and he threw himself against the window. After all, an unconscious man wouldn't have to give any explanation to what happened with the Goat. Blood dripped from his open wound, mixing with the blood of his own victim. And so Fox opened the door, time accelerated, people flashed by. And the truth lay hidden at the bottom of the sea until now. Mystery solved. We got like a D. That was heavy. We got a B? Solid. Yeah, who's the best? We're the best. Criminals all over the world, we're coming to get you. Hey, you actually aren't that bad at this. I know, that's what I'm saying. Okay then, I guess it's fine if you stay. I was going to anyways. What if you got stuck on a case and cried? Well, I wouldn't do that. Get stuck or cry. Hey, what are you two doing? You just cracked a tough case. You know what I do when that happens? Celebrate. Oh, confetti! Woo! Yeah, pretty cool, huh? I bought a few of these for the occasion. Nice. Can I try one? Sure, why not? Awesome. Okay. Oh no, my hand's slipping. Shay, watch out! Hey, it's not working. Is this thing on? Rookie mistake, Bo. You left the safety on. This is how you do it. Freeze, criminal! Wait, kid, stop. Point them upwards, upwards. And the shadow of the goat has been figured out. We had to use a lot of hints. Game, cute game. Oh god, I can't believe I had that up the entire time. I think it was good. I enjoyed the majority of the puzzles. That final one was hell of a doozy though. It felt like the scaling of difficulty went up like 100%. And for some reason, I just didn't feel ready for it. But at the same time, I kind of went into it kind of tired and everything too. So that's probably my fault. Aw, that's cute. Shay and Bo. Hi, I'm Rio. I hope you enjoyed playing Little Locked Rooms. Word of mouth is powerful, so if you know anyone who might like this game, I'd deeply appreciate if you shared it with them. This has been my first experience trying to make a real game. I'm glad I managed to see it through to the end. Or did I? but there's still so much I want to create, so many games that aren't going to make themselves. My sincerest hope is that with your help, they become a reality. Thanks for playing, and until next time, Rio Lucci. Thank you, Rio. So yeah, that was Little Locked Rooms. I did give a recommendation to a buddy about it, and he seemed to like enjoy it a bit, if anything, as well. I do think the game's cute. I think it's super charming. I think it was like fun engagement, like trying to, you know, have that deductive reasoning and everything to then figure out what the puzzle is behind it. Utilizing the diorama is cool. I do wish there was more puzzles that could have like allowed us to scale up decently well for that final one, for being able to solve it on a more fluid level. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I was just rushing a little bit and everything. So I can only have myself to blame for like a situation like that. But I still enjoy the game overall, and I really enjoy the narrative for the characters that were written, for like Bo, for Sherry, and for the father as well. I felt like they were very well written like characters. But alright, yeah, solid game. But that's where I'm gonna end for today. For whoever watches this session, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We'll catch you dudes next time. Have a good one. Peace out and bye.